Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna 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 Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Mukham Karoti Vachalam, Pangum Langate Girim, Yatkupatam Ham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarine. So today we'll see verse number 40 of the third chapter, Karma Yoga. So let us see the shloka. Indriyani manobuddhir
Indriyani manobuddhir
अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते
asyadhisthanamuchyate
एतैर्विमोहयत्येष
etervimohayetyesa
ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनाम्
jnanamavathyate hinam
इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिर्
Indriyani mana buddhi
अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते
Adhyadhisthana uchyate
एतैर्विमोहयत्येष
Itervimohayattesha
ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनाम्.
Jnanamavruttadehinam.
Please chant.
indriyani manobuddhir asyadhisthanamuchyate etervimohayetyesa jnanamavathyate hinam.
इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धि रस्याधीना धितानमुच्यते एति एतैर्विमोहयस्य ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम्
इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते एतैर्विमोहयात्येषा ज्ञानम् आवृत्य देहिनाम्
इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धेरस्याधिष्ठानम् उच्यते एतैर्विमोहयत्वा ज्ञानम् आवृत्य देहिनाम्.
Okay. Translation and purport. The senses, mind, the mind and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, the lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Purport. The enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of conditioned soul, and therefore the Lord Krishna is giving hints of those places so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all activities of the senses, and thus, when we hear about sense objects, the mind generally becomes a reservoir of all ideas and sense gratification. As a result, mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department becomes capital of such lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the super soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with the matter, and thus the mind with the mind and senses. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. This false identification of the spirit soul is very nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.84.13. यस्यात्मबुद्धि कुनपे त्रिधातुके स्व आदि कालात्रादिषु भौम इज्जति यत्तीर्थबुद्धि सलिल न कर्हिचित् ज्ञानेव अभिनेषु स एव गोकरः. A human being who identifies This body made of three elements with itself, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of birth worshipable, and who goes to the places of pilgrimage only to take a bath rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. So, Krishna continuing the explanation to Arjuna about desires, right, or lust. The lust starts from our desires, and to fulfill our desires, we fall prey to the lust. So, Krishna told that lust covers our real knowledge. And now in this shloka, Krishna is telling how the lust covers our real knowledge and from where. So Indriyani Mano Buddhi, the senses, mind, and the Buddhi or intelligence are the three places where the lust is situated, and through it, it covers our real consciousness and bewilders us. Jnanam means real knowledge or the knowledge of the soul, that I am not this body, I am soul, and I am eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. This knowledge is covered. And then we identify with this body. So how we identify? So the senses mo- are the operating, say, machines. It's like the eyes sees different things, ear hears, hand touches. So like this, the senses are engaged. And we have seen the shloka that by contemplating on the sense objects, we start attachment. And so the mind, so generally how it works, that senses take the information, send it to mind. The mind analysis, does the analysis and processes the information and decides based on the past experiences whether I want it, I don't want it. And then intelligence, works with mind. Okay, and the intelligence defines the smart ways of achieving fulfilling our desires. So this is the general process how it works. So if the senses are engaged in wrong things, then the mind will try to fulfill those wrong things, and then intelligence will help it. So nowadays our problem is like not only our mind but the external situations also create a lot of challenge for us. Uh, so because of this technological development, we face so many challenges. So the artificial intelligence thing, right, that to we see that if you go to YouTube and today you watch, say, Ramayana, then tomorrow if you log into YouTube, you will see all the recommendations of Ramayana. So how it worked? The artificial intelligence stored the image that this particular IP or this particular person, what he saw today. Based on that, it will create the output for the next day whenever you log in. So it's also working like mine. So it has the images, and based on that images, it's giving us the allurement. Okay, yesterday you saw this, today also you see this. So it will recommend you to see those videos. So similarly, our mind is also working. So if we see any object, then we have images about that object, and the mind immediately starts how I can achieve that or how I can avoid that, and intelligence will give different ideas. So in all this process, the soul is just near to intelligence, and then the soul, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned, the soul starts uh, identifying with the intelligence and ultimately with the mind and senses, and so it gets caught up in these sensory things. So another example is, say, how our intelligence or mind works. So on a table, if there are so many food items, okay, and if you like a particular dish, so if I like, say, sweet, and there are so many eating items stored on the table, and someone tells you, oh, there is very nice sweet, and you go on that table, then what automatically our mind and intelligence will do, because of the information that we got that there is this particular sweet which is very nice. So our mind, when we see those 50 different categories of dishes, we try to find out that particular dish sweet. So if we have the information how it looks, where it is kept, then our mind and intelligence will immediately start working to find out that particular dish, because that is more attractive to us. So even if there are other dishes which are good, but still we'll focus on that particular thing. So because we got the information and the mind processed it, okay, this is the thing that I want, and so it will go behind it. So this is how the senses take our mind and intelligence in what the senses want to do. And then we lose the control. So in all this process, what happens? Our real knowledge, mm, our real knowledge or our real identification is lost, and we just follow the senses and we go with it. And so the intelligence which has to take the proper decisions, which is correct or which is wrong, it will not do that. It will just follow the mind's dictation. So mind says I want this, so intelligence will help the mind how to do it. So for example, on internet there are so many things are readily available now. So one example, I was searching for ticket, air flight ticket, and one day I was searching with particular route. So what happened? Whenever I used to log in, all the information of that particular route used to come automatically. So I was worried, like how this thing is coming continuously. Okay, so now I wanted to avoid it. That they should not press what I searched yesterday. They should give some new results so that I can choose the cheapest one. That was my goal. So then I asked my friends. Then they gave me one idea. The intelligence find out, right? Okay, this who will have some workaround for this. So that is intelligence work. So intelligence told mind, okay, you call this person. So I called that person. Then he said, okay, on Google Chrome, you use this incognito something mode. So if you go log in into that mode, then your IP cannot be traced out, and they will give you some different results, which will be cheaper. So in this simple example, I understood that okay, intelligence find out what I don't want. Mind said what I don't want, and intelligence find out the solution also. And then I go to that mode and I search, and then the results are not there. Right. So like this, intelligence will help out the mind to do whatever mind and senses want to do. So by this, our real knowledge is overcome or covered. Covered by what? The impressions that we have in our mind for so many lifetimes. And we just work according to those impressions. And many times we also don't know that we are just following the impressions. Uh, we are not making choice also. We just follow. So this is in a way covering, because we cannot use the true choice that we have, or free will that we have. So how this is how lust or the several desires will cover our real knowledge through mind, senses, mind, and intelligence. So Krishna explains that okay, uh, Arjuna, you have real knowledge. You know what is your dharma. So don't get covered up by the desire of not to fight. Go with your dharma. So Arjuna's question, why we have to do the thing that sometimes we don't want to do, but why do it? So this tells Arjuna that he should follow his real dharma and use his real knowledge while making the choice. So how we can overcome this lust or the problems caused by the lust, that Krishna will explain in the next few verses, and that we will see in our session tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Can you explain how the mind get this idea? How these ideas basically comes in mind?
Which idea?
Like if we like in the beginning there is sentence, right? Mind is the center of all the activities of the senses, and thus when we hear about the sense object, the mind generally becomes reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification. And as a result, the mind and the senses become the originators of the lust. So, from where all these ideas come in the mind?
I told you, the mind has the impressions of many lifetimes, like the storage. Computer has the storage, or similarly, mind has the impressions, images already stored, and already the results are also there. Yes, no, good, bad. So based on those experiences, our desires will be driven. Whenever we see any sense object, the desires will work in based on our images. So that's how it covers, and it becomes the repositories of the lust.
Means actually it's not real, right? It's just the past ideas. It's
No,
based
it's not
on the
ideas,
past
it's maybe the
experience.
experiences. So
Yes.
experiences are real, not ideas. So if you had some bad experience in some restaurant, that's a real experience that you had in the past. It's not imaginary. So you went and you went 2 years back, and the vegetables were not fresh. The rice or the food that they gave were not fresh. So it is an experience that you had that maybe happened 2 years back, not now. Now it may be different, but you have that image that this restaurant does not serve fresh food. So you just follow that. But the actual may be different, don't know. But we follow our um, images.
Means old programs, right? Just like in computer you have old programs.
Yes, yes.
It's mind is just like running by the old programs, old memories,
Yes.
and the old experiences. Means ultimately it's not real. Means it looks like we take it as real, whatever the experiences and programs have in the mind. But ultimately it's not real. It's just some
That's why it
so
says
some
it cover
programs.
lust covers the real knowledge. That is sloka. So the real knowledge is that which is in front of you, but we don't look at that. So that's what Krishna said. Eter vimohayati esha. It bewilders us. Jnanam avrutya dehina. Jnanam avrutya. Covering the knowledge.
Like for example, I have this experience. Like if someone has in their mind one program is said that women are like that or men are like this, like that, then they perceive in the same way to others. Maybe that person is not like that, but their program is set in such a way that they assume, means we make assumptions on that basis of that programs. We sometimes misunderstand people or misunderstand the situations, and it's ultimately based upon our program in the mind.
Yes.
So I feel ultimately we should not trust this concept, these programs in the mind.
So use the intelligence properly, then you will have proper knowledge. That's what Krishna will tell tomorrow's shloka. I think next two shlokas he will tell how to overcome this. So that we have to see tomorrow. Wait for Krishna's instruction rather than we coming to. But the problem is here that we understood today. So Krishna will tell what to do. So, any other points?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Ah,
Many times we see that there are people who have like lot of negative thoughts, and there are other people also who always see everything positive. So even that is the impression from very previous lives and the experience they had in their life.
Not exactly. Some people may have the negative impressions, but they are trying to use their intelligence and change to the positive attitude. So some people or some devotees do this. I may have a bad experience of particular person, particular place, but I come to my proper knowledge and I give the other person. We become optimistic. Yeah, maybe this thing has changed now. Let us see. So that we say as a positive attitude. So some people try, and some people are naturally negative. They can find problems in anything. So that they have the images that they are not coming. So their knowledge is completely covered. They don't understand that they are just going through these images. So yeah, there are people like this.
Yes, like even I think many people are there who just out of assumption they feel that there is lot of negativity,
Yeah.
or I don't know, maybe.
No, yeah. So sometimes, like a particular person, we have bad experience. So whatever that person does, we don't accept that person because of our past experiences. So we just start with negative. When that person comes in front of us, our mind immediately switches to negative thing, and then even if the next person has changed, we don't approach it that way.
So Prabhuji, how to overcome that? Like if some person is like always negative, but we don't want to see that negative. Like if that, as you said, that person comes in front of us, then we feel that this person is negative, so we try to avoid. So what should be done, Prabhuji, in this case?
Yeah, like what Satyadev Prabhu tells, na, that this we at least know that this is what happening with us. So we should not go with the images. We should go with that particular situation, that particular day, and what's happening in that particular moment. And then we should try to see without means the thought will come, the negative thought will come, but we should not get identified with the thought. Let the thought come and go, but we should be in a situation that we see what exactly happening now in front of us, and then we react. So
Okay, so basically we should not judge.
we should not judge based on our past things. We should judge on what's happening in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Say
Okay.
fresh intelligence,
Yeah, so that's the
spiritual
term
trends.
used in fourth canto. It's fresh intelligence. Always use the fresh intelligence, not the old intelligence. So bhakti is always fresh intelligence because you are always thinking fresh. In each moment you are thinking fresh. So what is in front of you, then only you can do spontaneous things. Otherwise you will not do spontaneous things.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. So let us see tomorrow how we can overcome this lust. So Krishna will give instructions. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.